Hey guys, it's me Matthew again. Today I'm going to be doing another audio. And this time, this particular story isn't based or inspired by any other story. It's purely my own. And it's called A Tomcat's Happiness. And this one is a bit more easier for me to read this time. And this time it has a bit more additional audio sensations. And you'll see what I mean. But anyways, I truly do hope you all like this story. So please, if you like it, like, subscribe, press the little ding bell down below. But if you're not new here, not subscribed, please like, subscribe, press the little ding bell down below, as well as go over to my community posts. You don't know what you may find, as well as go over to check out my previous audio series known as Anime/Dragon Knight Unlimited. But anyways, let's move on to the audio story. Once there was a school that had a bloody history. I saw that history without anyone knowing. My name is Sabor Clash. I am half cat, half human, and a vampire. There are people all over the world who are human, cat, or vampire. There used to be werewolves in the world, but became extinct in 1436. Back when I was young, I saw things that will scar me forever. I don't remember, let alone anything before that memory. I don't know who my own mother and father are. The only thing I remember is a friendly female face who I believe to be my mother. I remember her smell, warmth, and that smile of hers. I was in a harmonious city with lands left and right. I was wandering around on all fours, just looking around out of curiosity, when I saw two girls wearing school uniforms. They looked friendly enough for me to come out to say hello. One of the girls was asked, "So did you hear?" The other girl said, "Hear about what?" The other girl said, "About the half-human, half-cat around here." She stopped and her friend asked, "Are you okay?" "Oh, do you mean this little one? Come here, we won't hurt you." I went over to them, watching, seeing what they might do. They extended their hands out to my nose so that they can have my permission. I sniffed their hands, and the one on the left, that smell that caught my attention. She smelled like the one in my memory, so I continued to smell her out of curiosity. Once I was satisfied, I put my head under their hands, and they pet me, which made me happy enough to make me purr. After a couple of minutes, they decided to continue on to their high school. The one I was curious of said, "Okay, we've got to go. See you next time, you cute little one." "Come on, Ezra." Ezra said, "Okay, Cyprian. See you later, you cutie." Ezra winked, and they walked off to their school. Out of curiosity, I followed them without them knowing. 3 minutes later, they arrived at their school, heading to their clubs. I followed Sabria to her club. She was doing track club, and I watched her run while I was in a tree. She was the fastest one in her club. She had technique that requires her to run normally, then jump forward and push herself forward forward with her hands, causing her feet to move in between her hands. Then her feet pushed herself forward even further in an even manner, causing her to be the fastest athlete ever in young athlete history. I watched the rest of the track club run, but none of them interest me. Then I heard someone below me crying, so I dropped down to comfort them out of my kindness. The one crying was a girl who had a sweet smell and the only one who I have seen with pure white hair. I rubbed my head up against her chin. She looked at me with sadness and hugged me, crying on my shoulder until she fell asleep, ending up on my lap. I lugged on her with my tail for a bit until one of the girls from the track club noticed me. She said, "Hey everyone, look at that cutie," she said with stars in her eyes. They all came over to me and I gestured to them to be quiet. Sabria saw me and she smiled, then whispered, "Hi, did you follow me here?" I purred passionately and she whispered, "I see. Can one of you please take Miss Yura to the infirmary?" Then someone said, "I'll do it." They all looked at a black and silver-haired boy who looked scary for most. Sabria stood up and said, "Thank you, Shiro." Shiro said, "No problem." He grabbed her onto his back and walked to the infirmary. After they left, the girls around me loved on me, making me purr for a few minutes until the bell rang. Sabria said, "Okay, everyone, it's time to head to class." The girls of the track club complained and went off to class. Sabria said, "See ya in a bit, cutie." She winked at me, then walked off. I climbed back up the tree and took a nap. A few hours later, I woke up. I climbed down the tree and waited for Sabria to come back to love on me. But the one who came to see me wasn't Sabria. Someone came over to me and asked, "What are you doing out here? You're supposed to be inside." I growled at them, tilting my head. He said, "Wait, you aren't one of my students. You're a half-breed." Then the bell rang and the man said, "I've got to go to a meeting. What to do with you?" Then someone said, "Hey, Mr. Sherman." Mr. Sherman asked, "Hey, Sabria, is this half-breed yours, or is he a stray?" Sabria said, "He is a stray, but I'm thinking about taking him home with me." I walked over to her, purring and loving on her with her loving on me back. Mr. Sherman said, "Okay, I see. Well, I've got to go to a meeting. You keep out of Ultra Club, President." Sabria said, "I will do my best, sir." She smiled. Mr. Sherman walked off to go to his meeting. Sabria sat up against the tree, opened her lunchbox. She grabbed a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and ate it while I laid my head in her lap, purring. A few minutes later, all of the track club girls came over to eat with Sabria. They ate until they were done. They were loving on me, making me happy. Then the bell rang and it was time for them to go back to class. Sabria got up and said, "See you in a couple of hours." She smiled at me, then walked off to class. After a while, I was bored and I decided to run the track. I think I ran 100 laps an hour since Sabria's technique is similar to my own. I just add some extra oomph to my speed and I'm lighter than most. I did this until I was worn out. The bell rang 10 minutes later before I was finished running. Sabria came over with her track club. They saw how fast I was and they joined in. Sabria was able to keep up, but only a second behind. Then after a third lap, I stopped and walked over to the tree to rest. All of the track club girls stopped and came over to love on me while I caught my breath. 5 minutes later, Sabria said, "Okay, everyone, I've got to go, and this one's coming home with me." They all said, "Aw." Sabria said, "Now don't worry, he'll be back Monday unless y'all want to come over to say hello this weekend. Now then, let's go." We walked together to her home and she said, "Hi Mom, I'm home." Her mother said, "Ah, good. Wait. Who is this?" Sabria said, "He's a half-breed who I'd like to adopt." Her mother asked, "Is he sweet?" Sabria said, "Indeed, and he's a second faster than me." Her mother said, "Really? Will you take good care of him?" Sabria said, "I will." Her mother said, "Okay then, let's take him to the vet to get him checked out so we can adopt him." Sabria said, "Yes, ma'am." "Thank you, Mom." She hugged her, then we went to the car and drove to the vet. When we got to the vet, I saw other people with other cats and half-breeds like me. I was both curious and nervous. One of the queen cats looked at me and came over. She sniffed me curiously and she said in our language, "You seem like an interesting time." I asked, "What do you mean?" She said, "Oh, it's nothing. Anyways, my name is Pash. What's yours?" I said, "I'm about to find out." Pash said, "Oh, I see. I'll be with you the whole time since my owner both works here and lives here, so I do as well." I said, "Okay." Sabrina said, "Okay, you need to go with this vet now, okay?" I heard and did what Sabrina said. We went into a room with a metal table and a veterinarian equipment. The veterinarian said, "Okay, can you please come onto the table?" I jumped onto the table and the veterinarian said, "Okay, let's see what I can find." After an hour or two, the veterinarian, Pash, and I came out to the front room. The vet said, "He seems to be very healthy. He seems to take care of himself." I did a blood test on him and found out he's half human, half cat, and a vampire. Sabria's mother said, "Wait, he's a vampire?" The vet said, "Apparently." Sabria's mother asked, "Does he at least drink animal blood?" The vet said, "I tested that and he lately ignored the human blood." Sabria's mother said, "Well, that's a relief." For a moment, I thought I'll have to decline my daughter's wish to adopt him. The vet said, "Don't worry, it's a vet's job to see what blood they may choose or if they even go for it at all." Sabria's mother said, "Okay, well that's good to know. Let me know when you're ready for me to sign papers to adopt him. That said, speaking of him, Miss, what do you want to name him? Sabria said, how about Sabor? S-A-B-O-R. The vet said, Sabor. Because he has fangs? Sabria said, yes, and because saber-toothed tigers are my favorite animal. The vet said, okay, that's understandable. Then just sign this and you'll officially have adopted him. Sabria's mother asked, really? Well then, no, Sabria said with a smile. You hear that, Sabor? You're officially my brother. I purred and Pash said, well, Sabor, if you need someone to talk to, you're always free to come here and talk to me. I said, if I follow your scent, I could easily find you, but I'm afraid that I'll only be able to visit you every once in a while. Okay, Pash? Pash said, I understand, Signor, but I'll always be waiting to see you. I purred and said, I am looking forward to seeing you again too, Pash. I gotta go home. See you next time. Bye, Pash. Pash said, bye, you handsome Tom. She purred and went back to her spot. Then Sabria's mother said, okay, Sabria dear, it's time to go home. You have homework to get done. Sabria said, okay, come on, Sabor. It's time to go home. I purred and we left. When we got home, Sabria and I went to our room. Sabria was doing her homework while I was lying next to her. I got love from time to time. After she was done with her homework, she took me to the bathroom and cleaned me up. I actually liked the warm water, unlike most cats or half-breeds. After I was clean, Sabria dried me and said, hold on, Sabor, I'll be right back. I waited for a couple of minutes, and she came back with clean clothes for me to wear. She said, okay, Sabor, you can go ahead and get dressed now. Please let me know when you're done. I purred, and she closed the door behind her. I got dressed in the comfortable clothing that Sabria gave me. When I was done, I put my paw on the door handle and I turned it. Sabria opened the door and said, I knew you'd look cute in that. She smiled. Then I walked out and rubbed her left leg while purring. He loved on me, making me purr more. We went back to our room, and man was I happy when I saw a red dot moving around our room. The red dot went to Sabria and disappeared. Then Sabria pet my head, making me purr and happy. Hours later, it was time for dinner, and I was happy to have a fish for me to bear my fangs upon. After I was done sucking any remaining blood inside the fish, I began to eat it bit by bit. After I was done eating, I went to Sabria's and my room to take a nap. After an hour or two, Sabria came in and wrapped the comforter around us and hugged me. We both fell asleep. This is a Tomcat's happiness.